Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're gonna be a spicier person after watching this video. Be a jerk to the sub? Get your just desserts. So this happened over 20 years ago. I had decided to leave my second career to start a third one, teaching. I had been accepted into an advanced summer program to train teachers and was subbing at a local district until the program began. You couldn't really call it teaching, but I liked the challenge of getting a different subject and age group on a daily basis. I really put that liberal arts background to good use. Teachers started to request me and I was working every day. At high school there was this one kid, a senior, isn't there always? He played a sport every season, whatever position there was for a large chunky guy. This tool decided that I was an easy target. He was insolent in a show-offy way, looking over his shoulder to make sure his teammates were laughing. He would continually bait me, trying to get me to lose my temper and entertain the class with a breakdown. This never happened. And sometimes the jocks laughed at my response to his goad. This made it personal, and he intensified his jerk act in response. When he walked into a class that I was subbing, his eyes lit up with glee, thinking of all the fun he could have in the next hour at my expense. Well, one day he turned to some friends and started talking about these great brownies he has. He offered to sell some for $15 a pop. What an idiot. He didn't even try to lower his voice in front of me. Did he think I was that ignorant? Did he think I lived in a cave? I was inwardly doing smirking cartwheels. Walking down the stairs the next period, I ran into the school SRO, school resource officer, a town cop who spends his time at one or more schools. Too easy, I didn't even have to search him out. Hey officer, I heard something today that's probably nothing. SROs love to hear this, how they get most of their information. So I told him about the jock. I didn't even say his name, just described him, and the SRO knew right away who I meant. I told him about this guy's personal bake sale, adding $15 seems like an awful lot for a brownie. Cop's eyes light up like this kid's did when he saw I was his sub. The cop told me the next day that my hunch was a good one, but I heard the deets from the teachers. Apparently as soon as he was taken aside and questioned, he cried like a baby and rolled on everyone he sold the brownie to, which included a lot of athletes and 2 National Honor Society members. Since they had eaten their brownies right away, they were all high AF and got busted. Everyone got suspended for a week, the kid for 2. As this was May, this meant that he and his friends couldn't play in the end of season tournaments. One of the NHS guys got his acceptance or scholarship rescinded. I felt bad about this, but I had no idea this idiot would roll on his friends. That act cost him big. His friends became former friends and he was pretty well ostracized for a few weeks left of school. Oh, and he was over 18, so he had a record. I entered my program and got a job teaching at a different district, so I never heard what happened to the guy. What I did to him was nowhere near as bad as what he did to himself. Drunk guy sucker punches me while working, subsequently gets arrested at his own job. On mobile, insert other excuses here. If this doesn't fit here, let me know and I'll remove. TLDR at bottom. Let's set the scene. Will be somewhat important. During college, I worked a few different jobs on campus to pay for school, 2 of which matter for this story. Job 1 was a traffic controller for the campus police department, i.e. stand in the middle of the street and keep things moving, and occasionally help out with other police duties in a civilian capacity. Job 2 was for the campus shuttle service as a bus driver. All in, I was usually working 40 hours a week at pretty crappy pay. One way to earn more was to work the drunk bus shift for the shuttle service. It was a 5-hour shift driving drunk students from campus to the bars downtown to keep them from driving. The shift paid $10 an hour, which was better than the $8 I would normally get for regular driving. We had 3 people working every shift, a driver and 2 security. I'd been doing it for 2 years at this point and paid my dues as the driver, so I mostly worked security. Same pay, just a lot less work. Overall it was super chill, and we would basically make sure that people stayed seated while we were moving, a strict rule from the university. And keep an eye out for anyone who got too drunk. The puke bucket was definitely a thing, but thankfully only got used every month or so. Now to the story. It's 2 AM and we're about to leave downtown for our final run back to campus. The bus is getting full and people are already sitting on each other's laps. Enter drunk douchebag. He gets on the bus and is being extremely loud and annoying. Nothing too unusual there. He then decides to do backflips using the handrails on the ceiling of the bus, but he is effing drunk so nearly kicks a girl in the face while doing so. The other security guard and I go over to tell him to basically sit down and stop acting like a 5-year-old. He refuses and makes a point to stand as we're trying to get going. We tell him to sit down or get off. At this point he gets in our face and starts with the drunk tough guy crap. We've had enough and force him off the bus through the stairs in the back. He tries to get me to come out and fight him, but I'm definitely not going to lose my job over this, so I don't say a word. I look forward to tell the driver to close the back door when he rushes up and blindsides me in the side of the face. I don't know if I have a steel jaw or if he just had a bad angle, but it didn't really affect me at all, just royally pissed me off. I really wanted to show him what a proper ass kicking was, but alas, we have 40 witnessed drunk and impatient people waiting to get home, so I just let it go. Upon seeing this guy kicked off the bus and the subsequent punch, his friends leave too since they probably figure they will be in some sort of trouble. In their rush to get off, the girl in the group forgets her phone. We let them go and finish our run for the night. Once we finish up, I figure I'll need to make a report of everything, so walk over to campus PD station next door to the shuttle office. At this point in college, I've been doing the traffic job for nearly 4 years, so I know all the officers well. I make a report and mention that we have a phone from someone in the group. Here's where things start to develop. The phone is locked, but uses a finger movement to open it. In the much better light of the station, we notice that there is an obvious oil mark in the shape of an L from the owner previously unlocking their phone. We follow that and are now in. Not much useful info from the phone, but we do get the number and can find the name of the girl who owns it. Start to look at her public Facebook profile, but unfortunately she has like 1,000 friends, and there's no guarantee we'll find our guy even if we look through all of them. No crap, while we are looking at her friends list, someone calls the phone. It's the owner. She wants to know if she can get her phone back. The officer is speaking with her but doesn't mention the fact that they are talking to the police. The officer can hear people in the background and nonchalantly asks who is with her. The girl is wasted and starts rattling off the names of her friends. We use that to filter the friends list and bam, there is our drunk douchebag. Run his name in the system and now we have his address and other info. A few officers decide to head over there and ask me if I want to come along. Damn right I do. We show up to the house and can hear people making noise inside, but nobody answers the door. They've probably figured out that they effed up by now. There's not enough probable cause to enter the house or get a warrant, and really it's close to 4 AM, so we call it a night. I'm so pumped that we actually found his ass I didn't even care we didn't get him right away. I go into the station for work the next day and one of the officers let me know they paid him a visit at his work that day and arrested him in front of his co-workers and boss. Don't know if he got fired or not, but it probably wasn't a good look for him. The best part, for me anyways, he had to walk through my intersection at least 3 times a week for the rest of the year, and I always made a point to make him wait a bit longer before I stopped cars to let him cross. He would never look at me. All in all, it was an eventful night at what was usually a pretty chill job. I made a handful of lifelong friends on the drunk bus and got a lot of stories. Want me to go to Croydon? Tough luck. Disclaimers, this is not my story but rather the story of my late grandma. Also, I'm writing on mobile so apologies in advance for any formatting issues. Backstory. My grandma was an excellent woman. She was hardworking, kind, had a good moral compass, but most of all, she was not afraid to speak her mind if she felt something needed to be said. Main story. Now, my grandma started working 1 night a week at the electronics department of a wholesaler here in the south of England, Macro if anyone's interested. She started working more hours as she became less busy looking after her children. In a few years, she was the supervisor for the electronics department. She got a reputation as the person to turn around a struggling department and began to be pushed from department to department to help those that were struggling. Note that she did not mind this as it gave her a challenge and a chance to show up her predominantly male co-workers. After a few years, she was promoted to manager of the jewellery department. She regularly attended team building exercises set up by HR. This caught the attention of the regional manager, who started to send her to other stores every now and again in order to help a struggling department. At first it was for a day or 2, and she didn't mind. However, after a while it became a more regular occurrence and she was getting sent further and further afield. Understandably, my grandma was unimpressed by this and became increasingly frustrated, as she was spending more time in other stores than her own department. Then, HR had the brilliant idea to send her a branch for an entire month. This time, however, it was to turn around an entire branch, all while still being paid to be a department manager. However, the straw that finally broke the camel's back was when, upon her return to her usual store, my grandma was asked to go to Croydon, yet again for a month. She said that, seeing as though she had only just got back to her own department, she would not be going. Her manager then told her the choice wasn't really hers and she would be going. This was a big mistake. My grandma would not be told what she was going to do, especially in this manner. So she said that she didn't and to wait there. She went straight to her locker and out of her handbag collected the letter of resignation she had written a few months prior. Although she had written it, she was still deciding whether she was going to resign or not. She handed it to her manager, who opened it with what I am assured was a look of pure dread on his face. Having read the letter, he backtracked massively, saying that she didn't have to go and that he was sure they could work something out. But the damage was already done. My grandma had made her decision and neither love nor money was going to change her mind. She did not go to Croydon and she left on her own terms, leaving her manager to find a new department manager, as well as leaving her area manager to find someone to overhaul the Croydon branch. Now, I should note that she did screw herself over slightly in this decision, as if she had stayed on for another year, she would have had a large payment made by the company into her pension, which is the reason she was still debating handing in her notice. But as I said earlier, if she had decided that she was doing something wrong, there was not a thing on God's earth that could stop her. Okay, so that's all for r/RegularRevenge. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are all in the description below. Any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!